Hey everybody, and welcome to a new Indie Film Cafe Criterion Watch. I'm your old pal, the Moo Cow, aka Paulie Presenza, and I'm joined by
Jonathan A. Moody, your co-host.
and
Not so quiet Joe today.
there you go.
All right.
I guess depending on the movie.
And we've decided to give you one more content video here in the old studio. There's not much left, but we still got our wall of movies back there. We're gonna take down and bring over to the new one. So we thought we'd give you one more.
This is a swan song for Studio 1.0.
This is pretty much the swan song.
And you know, it's the end of June, so like perfect.
The original series is just about wrapped up.
So July, I think you'll start seeing things actually be happening inside the new studio.
Summer solstice.
Hopefully we can get the air conditioning going because it's kind of warm.
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
But
It's the summer.
we've gathered together to watch a really, really good film from Criterion. I debated over and over which one I really wanted to do. There were several older films that were a little more heavier in theme that I thought I wanted to do, but in the end I decided to go something a little bit more modern, a movie I'm sure we've all seen.
Actually, I haven't.
And so we are going to go with the outstanding, my favorite Joel Coen Brothers movie, No Country for Old Men.
Have you seen it, Joe?
Yes.
A great
It's been a few
film.
years, but yes.
Written, the writing is great, but it's based on the Cormac McCarthy novel, which was also absolutely fabulous. And yeah, this is easily my favorite Coen Brothers film ever. It's
Nice.
magnificent, and it's got some amazing character sketches and some amazing writing. So,
I think it's like one of the best supporting actor performances probably
oh yeah,
ever.
Javier Bardem plays the most evil villain ever. It's just amazing.
Sweet. I'm looking forward to it.
You've never seen it?
No.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Are you in for something?
I mean, I love the Coen Brothers and stuff. It's just I just hadn't gotten around to it. I wanted to. So
I don't
I'm glad
say
I
this
didn't.
very often, but I think this is a movie that will like resonate with you long after.
Oh yeah.
Long after. It's one of those types.
This
of films.
is top 10 shit.
Nice. Well, good to know.
All right. Well, we will come back after we watch the movie and we will discuss it, and we'll have to see what Mr. Moody has to say about No Country for Old Cows.
Yep.
And we will see you on the flip side.
Bye.
Meow. Okay, everybody, we are back. So, Mr. Moody, this was your first viewing. What did you think of No Country for Old Men?
Well, it was kind of funny because I said how I felt afterwards, and Joe was like, "What?" And it was that I thought this was fun. I thought it was a fun movie, and he was like, "You thought it was a fun movie?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's enjoyable." So I don't know, maybe not fun to some people and most people. I don't know. I like a movie where the villain is scary as fuck, and you don't know where he's going. So
Oh, yeah,
that's
he's definitely scary.
When I think fun, I think fun is fun, ha ha, or fun. But I see what you're saying. Fun, enjoyable.
Yeah, it's just an enjoyable movie. I mean, it's not like, oh my god, this is, well, it did have some hilarious moments to it, but like, that's just a Coen Brothers thing.
I got the cancer.
That's the same lady from Donnie Darko of, what's that? Sparkle Motion.
Yeah.
You're never going to be a part of Sparkle Motion.
I doubt your commitment to Sparkle.
That's it. But Sparkle Motion is so funny because it's a completely different character, and she looks completely. I mean, she's supposed to be an older lady, or whatever. But
She's very, very good at whining.
yeah, she is. Beth Grant.
So basically, it's one of those films where a guy played by Josh Brolin finds a stash of money. He's out hunting and he comes across a slaughter, and he sees a bunch of money from drugs, and he grabs it. And unfortunately for him, there is one guy still alive, and he's asking for water. He's like, I don't have any water. But he takes the money, goes back home, and then he's laying in bed, and he's like, oh, fine. And then he gets some water, and he drives all the way back, even though he knows it's a bad move. And it is a bad move.
He even says that to his wife.
Yeah.
I know this is not a good idea, but
His compassion led to unless a fall down of events.
So do you guys think that he shouldn't have gone back?
I mean, ultimately, it's not going to matter because of the transponder that's in the bag. But yeah, I mean, he wouldn't have gotten shot.
He wouldn't have got shot, and the other ones wouldn't have been able to track him based off of his car.
Right.
I mean, it would just be the transponder.
Right, but they would have. Yeah, the person would just have to find it with the transponder.
Mm-hmm.
But oh man, I agree.
Yeah, so it's a very intricate plot, but it's really, really well done. The acting is great. All the production stuff is great. The cinematography is top notch. It's probably the best cinematography I've ever seen for a
Roger Deakins, baby.
Coen Brothers film, and it's just, if you have any interest in what the Panhandle of Texas looks like, I mean, it's not a place I would have thought I ever wanted to go, but after watching that movie, I'm like, oh shit, this is really nice.
Wow, Coen Brothers, you made him want to go into Texas. That's a big deal.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's it's not just Texas. It's not city Texas. It's the
No, it's
the
country.
desert.
I don't want to say the bowels of Texas. It's the desert. Yeah, it's the middle of. It's practically.
But the
middle
way
of
they
nowhere.
shot it, it was gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
It's almost another character, you know. And the whole thing pretty much takes place in Texas or the border towns in Mexico, because that's where it's all taking place. It's just really, really well done. All the production elements are there. The writing is fantastic. It's another example of how a movie is so well done because of a great script. And of course, the great script and the dialogue comes out of Cormac McCarthy's book. So.
Well, it's funny because like you're one of those guys that when you watch a movie, you're very particular about things. You don't like people doing certain things or whatever, and every single thing that like you would think like you would criticize or whatever, they do the opposite, of that, and they, and everything.
Well, the characters were smart. They weren't doing stupid things, So, and I like that. Even crazy Anton Chigurh was smart.
Oh yeah, no, he is very calculated.
Yeah, well, I like that they each of even the little side characters, like the hotel keeper or whatever. I mean, they all had like some sort of comment that led to an interaction that fully helped develop the main characters.
Which hotel person? Because there's the motel and then there's the
any
hotel.
of them. I mean, each one that they came across, there would be something, and sometimes it might have led to a slight disagreement. I mean, even the when he flipped the coin, Anton flipped the coin in the convenience store and stuff like that. I mean, they developed that character a little bit more and stuff like that. So.
I love the chubby chick that's
Yeah.
giving him lip, and she has no idea.
I know.
No idea that he's like
She's
this
so
close.
lucky too because there's like another person in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
background,
She's
and I
lucky
think
not-
he'd saved her.
To not get an air gun shot into her head.
Yeah.
It was just so funny, and she's like asking for it too. She's being real snotty about it. It was
Yeah,
so
she's
funny.
like, I said, I don't give you information.
And what's cool is as with the audience, while we're watching it, we're like, oh my God, she's so going to get it. She's so going to get it. And then she doesn't, but it's like...
Oh, or does she?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. But
I don't think Anton's rationale for killing people would have killed her just because she pissed him off. I mean, there has to be a legitimate reasoning.
What about the grocery guy? I mean, all he did was ask him if he was, whatever, and
He gave him a 50-50 shot.
But like, what was his rationale to wanting to kill him?
There was no rationale.
Well, see, he's saying there was a rationale for how
I
he kills people.
think in his mind
Not a rationale that we
trying to put with a psychopath. It's
Just like why he shoots the birds and animals.
Well, that's what psychopaths usually. I mean, as kids,
That's how they start.
They start that, but I mean,
But
yeah,
they don't continue to do that. They go after humans.
but with us trying to completely rationalize his movement, I guess I don't know. I mean, it's just he was full on nuts, and I mean, I'm glad he was supporting actor because that year there was somebody for lead actor that was just in a different world too. So they both got the Oscars, which was great because Daniel Day-Lewis was up for that There Will Be Blood that year. So there's no way. I mean, if those two would have butted heads for lead
That
actor.
was a great year.
Yeah.
Those were two amazing
performances.
films. And that's just it. It's like how do you watch movies that are like that and then go down to like fucking
Another movie I've never watched.
stuff.
There Will Be
Oh
Blood.
my God.
I've never seen that, no.
We're gonna do that one. That's one of my absolute favorite movies.
I haven't. I just never watched it. You know, it's
Fantastic.
just, not because I don't want to, because I love P.T. Anderson, but I just haven't. You know.
It's
The performance in that, yeah.
Yeah, even the one who played the son too. He's a star now. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He was in the Batman, but and he's been in a ton of other stuff too. That plays the son, but
Not the guy from Twilight.
No. There was somebody else. I'm completely missing his name right now, but but Daniel Day-Lewis. As the dad. No, that's pure. He's pure on. These are the two performances probably of the decade for males.
Pretty much.
I'd be hard pressed probably to find one more that would rival you.
It was really, really, really good. And everybody is good in this. You know, Kelly MacDonald is good. Tommy Lee Jones is good. Josh Brolin's really good. There's nothing bad about anything in this film. So, yeah well deserved whatever Oscars that this film got.
What Oscars?
It won 4. It won Best Supporting Actor, Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Screenplay.
So Javier Bardem won supporting. Best
Supporting, yeah, and then Daniel Lewis won Best Lead Actor. It's Paul Dano is who I was thinking of.
Oh yeah.
He plays the son.
Oh, Paul Dano, I like him.
Yeah, so it's but yeah, this one Best Picture, and There Will Be Blood in this. That's a pretty gut.
They're right there, neck and neck.
They're both gut punch films, so it's like. But this is definitely one, and I know we were talking a little bit earlier.
I don't know if Criterion has that. You know what I mean?
There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood. I don't know. If
No,
they do.
not yet. Or I don't know if they will ever get it or not.
God, I hope
I guess it depends on the studio.
Yeah, because here's the problem is like Criterion will probably want something, but the studio will say we want it because we're gonna make more money. You know, we make less money when we give it to Criterion to you know what I mean? Like they're gonna do half and half or whatever. But if they just put it out themselves, they get all the money.
There Will Be Blood. It's Miramax also. I think.
Oh wow! Then they might get it because I don't know what Miramax is doing, but I think they're just selling off.
I hope so.
Yeah. So.
Okay, we forgot Woody Harrelson's in it.
Yep, Woody Harrelson does a great job.
Let's see.
Being a walking jaw, basically.
Yeah.
Barry Corbin.
Barry Corbin. When I told you afterwards that was him and all, and it's just great to see him in anything back then. But
Tess Harper.
Tess Harper, Stephen Root. It was an incredible.
The thing with Woody Harrelson, in a lot of films, that if this type of movie was done with a lot of films, it probably would be a smaller, I don't want to say no name, but a smaller, lesser known actor in it and stuff like that. But because there's not a whole lot of screen time in it, plus it's the way that character sort of ends up and everything. He probably. Well, Woody Harrelson does a lot of branches out and does a variety of different things. So this is.
I like Woody. Whenever you see Woody, you know Woody.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a typical Woody performance. If you liked him in True Detective, then you'll like him. This is similar to his character in that. It's just that he's also tracking the money because the money's being tracked by all these different parties that all want it, and every time they cross paths, somebody gets killed, and it's not Anton.
It's not Anton.
No, well, not at least. And then that's the funny thing is at the very end. And no spoilers or anything.
Well, there is spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler. It's just he just gets taken out by a simple car crash.
Well, he doesn't die though.
Doesn't die, we think. He just wanders off.
He has a bone sticking out.
Yeah, he's not in the best shape.
The kid looks over and goes, "You got a bone sticking out of you, mister."
But the way he handled the shotgun to the leg and everything like that, blowing up a car just to get into the drugstore, the right section and everything like that. I don't have a doubt that he figured out a way to probably survive that. Even if he did have a bone sticking out of his arm.
Yeah, he definitely has one of the best performances of a psychotic that you will ever see. It's not like, and that's why I've never liked people who show that and are like, oh, they're going crazy. He was not like that at all. He was cold, calculated. He didn't do anything stupid. He didn't do anything crazy.
He had a very calm.
Yeah, calm demeanor.
He was going to do what he was going to do, and nothing was going to stop him ever.
They said there's been studies done on it, and they say it's one of the more accurate portrayals of a psychopath.
And it's funny because like, was it the guy says like, is he one? Was Llewellyn's like, is he one of the like most badass person or something? And Woody's like, I wouldn't call him that, but he's.
He gets what he
call him a psychopath,
Yeah,
basically.
The verse opening scene, he's been captured, and the deputy's on the phone. He walks up, he slips the cuffs enough to get him, and then he strangles him.
And when he's doing that, you just see his eyes. That's just it's pure evil. But it's just like he's also looked like he's getting almost, I don't want to say getting off on it, but
Yeah,
he just seems like he is so in touch with that section that
knows
any
what's
normal
happening.
person can't rationalize.
Yeah, it's like you get the feeling he's done this multiple times before.
and he doesn't care.
And
like,
there's this great shot of the floor where all the scuff marks, because the deputy's trying to fight, and his heels keep hitting the floor, and then you see like there's like 1,000 of them there because he really struggled. Didn't help him, but
didn't help the guy. Guy tried to get away from him.
He told his whoever's commanding officer on the phone, or was it maybe Tommy Lee Jones? He's like, yeah, I got it all under control.
Yeah, like right before.
And 10 seconds
famous
later,
last words.
Yeah, it's like the horror thing. I'll be back. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
So there are elements of black humor that are in there, sort of like you
That's why it was
shouldn't
fun to
be
you,
laughing.
Was that?
Is that
What
why
you
it was
do.
fun to you? Some of the black humor,
I mean, yeah, I'm into black humor. I just and not very dark humor. Like Paul sometimes will like something that's very dark humor, like the movie Happiness or something, and stuff.
I like when he was fucking with the first motel owner, and he's like, "What time do you go to bed?" You don't know. You told me
that
that.
was
on
the
before.
grocery guy.
Yeah, the grocery guy.
Yeah, like, it was like he said something like, you must be deaf or something, or whatever.
But he would find Anton would find anything that the person said that contradicted itself, and he would just expound on that and just
keep going.
Pure crazy. But at the same time, he was still processing everything.
Well,
within his mind. So.
And then you see him with the people that I guess have the money or whatever, want him to attract the money and everything, and he just shoots them. Like, he's like, I guess that money's all mine now, and I don't have to worry about these.
It's like he was planning 5 steps ahead. He knew what they were going to do, and as soon as he gave them the transporter, that he didn't need them anymore.
Okay, so
Transponder.
my question is, Stephen Root in the movie plays the guy that hires Woody and everything like that. And then he comes back after, spoiler alert, he kills Woody, comes back to go kill Stephen Root. How did he know about Stephen Root? Like, how did he know
I'm thinking because that was the phone call that he got, remember?
No, I thought the phone call he got was from the guy.
Okay.
It was from Llewellyn.
He must have figured it out. He must have.
In my mind,
Someone hired
it's
him.
just he's psychotic, but yet he is so in tune with and processing every little detail of everything, and he probably that world. He just knew that world inside and out.
I like how he gave the one guy a chance, the accountant guy. At least he said, "Do you see me?" No.
Well, I don't know. Did
I
he say
see.
no? It left it once again. It leaves it ambiguous, which a lot of these things do.
That's just like the flip of the coin. It's a 50-50 proposition. If he said the right answer, he might have made it. If he didn't, well, that's the end.
I mean, I'm guessing the right answer is no.
But
that would be my guess.
But honestly, is it? Because if he tells him no, and he calls him out, it's like, but you just see me right here, because he's psychotic.
Right.
So he might be like, I do, but I will never see you in my. I will never. He'd have to say something so perfectly rational to process to him to get out of that, in my opinion. And that's just.
You can't say anything dumb because this guy does not like dumb.
Because if he says no, I never saw you, then he just lied to him, and it's like, is that the end of him? Just off that.
You got to say something like, "Not only do I not see you, you don't even exist."
Exactly.
You don't even
probably
exist.
get out of this
You don't
stuff.
even exist. I'm going to turn around and put my head up my ass and hope that I can just survive this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, what's it? The girl at the end, the wife,
Carla Jean.
Carla Jean.
Kelly McDonald.
Her mom died. without, after the cancer,
The
Complaining all the way.
The cancer didn't kill her.
Cancer didn't kill her, but
I guess the
Mexicans
Mexican hit squad did.
Squad did, yeah. That's what I'm gonna guess. We don't see any of that, but we see the after.
We kind of see it from afar.
Yeah.
But that's crazy that we didn't get to see that, and and that's how Brolin's character met his demise. It's like in the pool and stuff like that.
Yeah, we didn't need to see it, I guess, because the whole idea for the long time, I thought Josh Brolin was the main character, right? I thought, oh my God, so this guy's gonna probably die trying to kill that guy somehow or whatever, right? And that's how it's gonna end.
Because he does shoot Anton Chigurh, I mean, it's not like he was completely overmatched. You think he's got a chance.
He did a great job, because even Woody Harrelson was surprised and was like, wow, you got shot by him and lived?
Or you saw him.
Yeah, you saw him and lived? Oh, wow. And that, to me, just meant that, he was pretty damn good, he was good, he wasn't better than Anton, and all of that happened because of the mother-in-law, because if she hadn't talked to the Mexican guy in a suit and said, I've never seen a Mexican guy in a suit, and I thought that was the rudest thing I've ever heard anybody say. That's just terrible.
Yeah,
It is, but it's like I was watching in the Hitchcock film the other night, The Man Who Knew Too Much. It's like Stewart talked a couple comments out to people and it's like sometimes you make those comments out to people and it can come back and get you, and that's, I guess, her talking there.
I like it because, she defines her character in just 2 or 3 sentences. As soon as she says those sentences, you know exactly where she's coming from and who she is.
Yeah, she's very much the old school,
bitter old lady.
Boomer, whatever. Boomer? Is she a boomer?
Baby boomer.
Before boomers.
Well, no, this took place in '80s, so she had to be sort of from the greatest generation.
Yeah. Oh.
So she was probably from the greatest generation.
Oh, something like that.
There's nothing great about her.
Nothing great about her. She's pretty awful. But Beth Grant does such a great job, because I didn't even recognize her until I saw the credits.
So one of my favorite scenes is when Josh Brolin's character Llewellyn goes back because he feels bad. He shouldn't have felt bad, but he goes back, and all of a sudden he finds not only is the guy dead, but he looks back and he sees that there's a truck with new people who are tracking him, and they puncture his thing. So they start shooting at him, and he runs. And while he's running, the 4-wheel drive is chasing him. They got the lights on. You see the flash from the guns. And then, I don't know if you noticed, but there's one scene where he's running into the landscape, and in the background you can see lightning.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
That was a shot. That was a gorgeous shot. And when it does, it illuminates all of the background, all the hills and everything. And it was just, it was just a beautiful, beautiful shot. It was really well done.
Like I said, Roger Deakins, who did the cinematography, was freaking top notch. I think he also does Tarantino's stuff, if I'm correct. Maybe.
Well, you were saying at times it felt like a Tarantino. Some of it felt like Tarantino.
Yeah, some of it felt like, the dialogue felt very Tarantino at times. Especially with Woody Harrelson's character.
It's interesting because I never think of Tarantino and landscape films.
Have you seen Hateful Eight?
Eight is the one. That's the one.
That's what I'm saying. But that was amazingly shot and everything, and done very well. And then, but Django Unchained had some great landscape stuff, and I think Inglourious Basterds did too. With even with the scene with Christoph Waltz pulling the gun out and shooting the girl in the field and everything. I mean, they have some.
Yeah.
I think they have
well,
some
even
good
in a
shots.
different way. I mean, I know Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's not in that landscape and in the wild and stuff like that. But I mean, the vast cinematography shots and stuff like that. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he does that. Just Hollywood and LA's the background versus this to be the
in that case, he did a great job dressing up present Hollywood to look like Hollywood from
that's production design, but
that was amazing. I mean, we noticed it in this film too. I mean, remember you were noticing the cars and the TVs and
the
stuff.
TV. I saw that in I'm like, this. What year is this? And
they made a comment at the beginning where he said something about 22 years later from 1958. That's why I
Right.
placed it at 1980. It's something that happens in one of the conversations early on.
Yeah.
So that's how I put the time period stamp on there.
But yeah,
Right when crack and cocaine and all that stuff was really taking off.
I love how the dude just walks through bloody and all messed up and everything, and just walks the border to Mexico, like, and that guard is just like.
And the thing is like
The
you
one
know,
way. The other way was a little different.
in
to come back
1980, $2 million of drug money's, a lot. It's something worth killing lots of people in order to get. I mean, whereas today, I mean, that's like $2 million a day, pretty much.
You're right, Joe. Like it was like all of a sudden, the second time coming back, he's being asked all these questions, and what saves him is that he was a NAM, that Llewellyn was a NAM.
Well, there is a thing that I've noticed, and I saw from a personal front, that people who are in the military and who's been to war, Vietnam and stuff like that they have a brotherhood amongst themselves, that if you're not part of it, you can't quite be there. For instance, my dad, at my wedding with Amber, my dad and her dad, you wouldn't think in general they'd just be like, hey, how's it going, stuff like that. But they both had a history with Vietnam together, and they were instantaneously together and talking and stuff like that. And that's something that I couldn't associate with because I've never been there, stuff like that. So I think that him doing that in this movie here kind of touches that brotherhood that we can't be a part of, and that helped him get through.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it was on the American side, which made more sense because the Mexican side,
The
they
guy
didn't care.
was probably still snoozing.
It was
Yeah.
funny when he walks across and they run into these three American kids, and the one's like, give me your shirt. He's like, how much? I'm like, oh yeah,
And give me the
that's
beer
American.
too, so he could act like he's drunk crossing the border. And then he was woken up by the mariachi band.
And then there was the one guy's like, I thought one dude looked like DJ Qualls from.
Yeah, you were
whatever,
saying that.
yeah.
You're like, is that
the guy from New Guy? But no, I look, there's like at one point the guy's like, he was like, give me whatever for sure. He's like, what? And whatever, the guy's like, just give it to him. Like this guy's like really messed up right now,
And I like how Josh Brolin's character was smart enough to hide the thing in the AC vent.
Yeah.
And that scene though, the setup of that was great. But when he set up the room to be a different room, not the right next to it, and that
He
whole
pushed it to the other side.
and when the transponder coming in with Anton, and just everything about that was beautifully tense. It was just on the edge of your seat. Just it could not have been done any better, because it's like you hear the beep and then he slows back, and then he goes in the room and he gets the room, and it's just like every little detail of it. It's like, I mean, that's so suspenseful.
Let's not forget Anton Churigan's calling card, which is the bolt gun, the air bolt gun that they use to kill livestock with.
Right.
And he uses it to kill people. He uses it to punch out locks. Never seen that before in film history. Never heard of that.
And that's where Tommy Lee. That's where he sort of caught that what it was or who it was.
Yeah. Because that one guy, that one cop was like, he's not shot, but he was shot, and I don't understand this. So I think he put two and two together. So later he's explaining that to the girl, to Carly Jean, and he goes up and she's like, why are you telling me all this? And he's like,
I don't know, my mind wanders.
My mind wanders. And I'm like, because like, he's telling us, the audience, this, but he's also telling her this. It's exposition. It was a very funny way to give sort of exposition that he knows what's going on exactly.
And that's
But he's trying
really
to
what
build
it
a
is.
relationship with her.
This is really all about Tommy Lee Jones's character. He opens up with the dialogue over the film, and he's talking about how things are different and he doesn't quite understand this new generation. And then the bookend of that towards the end is he's retired, he doesn't know what to do with himself, and part of the reason he's out is because he doesn't understand the way life is going, and he just doesn't get it.
And I think that some of the criticisms that some people have with this film is towards the end they don't understand that the last 20 minutes or so is so different, but yet it fits with everything else, and it just shows that Tommy Lee's character and then, I mean, you don't get old in this. I mean, it's just he was surviving, but he can't retire because there's nothing for him to do at home. It's just there's
him describing the dream of his dad going on in the snowstorm and making a fire further on and waiting for him and knowing that he'll be there. That's a metaphor for death. Mm-hmm. That's a metaphor for my dad's waiting for me on the other side.
Yeah, but he had such a perfect police mind, a detective mind, because when they went to the site, he was like, well, the way that these bodies have been here longer than these. There's been 2 fracases here and stuff like that. So it's like,
but these guys are plumping up, not these 2.
Yeah, so it's like that's all he knew because he couldn't associate himself with his wife. So I mean that was everything for him. So as he's getting older, he can't. There's nothing left for him. No country.
And when he's retired, what's gonna
Yeah, there's. Just,
yeah, well, that's just it. There's no country for old men, and that's what he's become. Just like his, I guess that's not his dad. That's his uncle.
Yeah, Barry Corbin's character.
Yeah.
At the end, that he comes into that house and he was like, "How'd you know it was me?" and everything. And he was like, "I could hear your truck.
I deduced it.
I could hear your truck come up, And
that's the thing. People can tell those type of engines, if that's or whatever. And I mean, who else would be probably coming? He
also
to see
said
him?
the dog, and I think he saw him when he walked in. That was how he deduced it.
Yeah. And who else is going to be coming to see him? Because he was basically.
Oh,
I mean, he didn't have any.
He's an invalid.
Yeah, I mean, he was another old man who was just basically existing. I mean, there was nothing in the world left for him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, except for coffee or whatever they
he says he brewed a new pot that week.
Yeah, so that guy is a foreshadowing of what's to come for him.
Yeah. Well, I don't, and I think he's very accepting of that,
And it's interesting because he's the one who says to him, "This isn't new. That's just vanity. This shit has always been happening. It happened to me. It happened to your dad. It happened to our grandparents. All of this isn't new. It just seems that way to you."
So I guess taking the lesson that they're putting forward here and approaching it to us, it's like, is that what we have in our minds to come to at some point in the world? I mean,
not me. No, I'm not going to live like that.
No, I don't mean that, but to find that you've been so removed from what is generally popular or accepted as the norm in society.
Oh yeah,
is that where we are? I don't
feel like I'm part of this society.
Yeah, because I know it gets pointed out to me all the time. I'll put up on YouTube sometimes like, oh, what's the top 50 songs or 100 songs that's going on right now or this year? And I'm like, I might know 5 to 10 of them or something like that.
Well,
and I'm removed from the pop culture aspect of it, and it's like, where am I in my place in the world as I age and stuff like that? And that's just an interesting thing, and this is a good study on that.
When you hit 50,
I know, right?
I don't know.
You haven't yet, so you can't quite grasp where it's going. And
it's funny because I'm still friends with 20-year-olds, so I still I know that sort of life, or whatever.
And I know it's going to be even more when I hit 55, 60, hopefully longer than that. But I think what I try to do is now music, I just can't do it because a lot of the music nowadays is just awful. And that's not age speaking, that's just, it's terrible because I can go back into the 60s and 50s prior to my life and appreciate that. Present day music, I just can't appreciate as much. There is some greatness, but it's very minor.
Very few, yeah.
But what I do try to do is I try to watch creativity from younger audiences and stuff like that now because it helps me associate with what that is. Mm-hmm. It's like that, and that's the way I try to associate into different cultures. And
I imagine today. Every generation goes through the same thing. They get to a point where they don't understand the new generation and they don't understand why things are happening and what's going on. It's just the same thing that the new generation is going to say later on when they age. Mm-hmm. It's just the new the new group.
Oh yeah,
but it's just trying to find your place and rationalize your existence.
So in a way, this film is pretty timeless. You're taking this specific chunk of story in this specific time period, but you could really put it into the past. You could put it into the present, and it would still work.
And that's what doing it as a Western too, because the Western in today's time
neo-noir and Western.
Yeah, those type of films are the exception they don't even go into westerns as much
Well,
anymore.
yeah,
There
but
is some, but not.
a lot of it's in the past anyway.
Like Lone
right?
Star was the only other thing there was a lot more, violence in this one than Lone Star, but Lone Star kind of walked a similar path.
And that was about
to
10
this.
years prior to this. I think that was like mid 90s,
Yeah,
96
mid
or so.
'90s, like '95ish.
Love to see Criterion pick that up.
Oh, it has.
Oh, it has, yeah.
Yes, I
need
have
to get
it.
it.
I have it already.
I need to get it.
Yes, it was funny because we did that for Film Freaks.
We did.
And then like I swear to God, like maybe a month later, they announced it for Criterion.
Happened several times.
We would like to think that that's Criterion, like watching us or something.
What is the Moo Cow talking about? We have to buy it.
But
Well, you're still in tune with cultures. Then you're not removed from being recognized for that. Then if people really.
I mean, and that's the thing about you're very much the movies that have shaped your life as younger when you were in your 20s and
The ones that were
yes,
meaningful to me.
meaningful to you,
Yeah,
like
but-
Prince of the City and that and that's
We've got a handful of them coming up in Film
But
Freaks.
meaningful to you when you were in your 20s to meaningful to where you are now, there can be differences to that because we're seeing life within ourselves and the world through different lenses now.
Oh, we're going to be
of
seeing
maturity.
stuff that was meaningful to me when I was a 13, 14.
'Cause I remember when
well, it's funny because I'll show him something that was meaningful to me in my 20s, and you're like, "Fuck this,"
that.
And then I'll be like, generally speaking, he picks good stuff or whatever. But I'll say I want to watch this. He'd be like, "No, I have no interest in that."
Well, I think one of the things COVID brought so many bad things, but one of the things that it allowed and forced me to do was if I wanted to see films that I hadn't seen before, I had to look back in time because all the present stuff they either stopped making or stopped releasing, and I had to look at old stuff, and that's where I was able to look at some of these older films, and I'm just like, I started talking with my dad a lot at the time about some of the movies I was watching, Easy Rider, etc., and how he watched them at a young age, and how I watch it at an older age, and just how we look at it through different lenses of time and stuff like that. And now, in hindsight, it's a blessed thing to have because now that he's not here, but it just helps see films like this, and films like this need to continue to get attention because this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Spot
sure
on.
my parents watched they love Coen Brothers, so I'm sure they've seen this and probably like it. Or maybe they don't like it. Is a very violent movie.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
way more violent than I expected it to be. I don't know. I think a lot of it I did get turned off by the name, and I think some people might get turned off by the name.
Well,
Please
it's
don't.
from the book.
Right, but you can always change a title from a book, title or whatever if you want.
Yeah, but I
if you
think
feel
I
like-
think it's very appropriate.
No, it's very appropriate. I'm not saying. I'm just saying, like, when you first, so don't judge a book by its cover, or its title, because honestly, it is a really good movie. But I never thought, I thought it would be boring, because of the title.
Well, movies like this, there's offshoots that come out every few years, every decade maybe, and there's one coming out later this year that's this has got me a little bit thinking in that vein. It's a Western type of film, and it's done by Ari Aster, coming out this fall or summer. There's that one. Hell or High Water came out a few years ago. I really enjoyed that.
But I
Stuff like
kind
that.
of
And I know
expected.
that this though, when you see Coen Brothers, you know it.
Yeah.
And McCarthy
I
being based
expected
off
it to
that.
be good because of Cormac McCarthy and because Coen Brothers. So they both have a track record of excellence. So
Yeah.
Well, you said
kinda knew.
it's your favorite one too. So I mean,
Yeah, you said it was your favorite one.
favorite Coen
Well,
Brothers.
I'll never forget seeing this on the big screen. I mean, that's why I think we still have big screen films, because seeing it today was fine, but seeing it, trust me, seeing it on the big screen, all of those landscape shots were just amazing.
I was actually watching a old, but it had to be old because it was a Siskel and Ebert bit, and they were talking about the '80s. What was it? They were talking about the top 10 movies that were hit at 1984 in the what is it?
It's high school
in
for me.
the tapes, VHS and stuff, and they were saying they really hope that people don't just stay at home and not watch, because they brought up the same thing we always talk about, which is a lot of people don't want to go to the theaters because they don't want to deal with screaming people and children and different
and
things
that's only
like
gotten
that.
worse.
Yeah.
Lighted phones.
Yeah,
Well, it's
phones.
the cost. I mean, when I went last night to see Bring Her Back, that was $35.
See, that's why I
for
have
a
that
ticket,
pass.
a large soda, and a large popcorn.
Well, and they said that it cost the same for a ticket as the rental, back then. So it's $4 for a rental ticket and $4 for a movie ticket and everything. And I was like thinking, dang, things have changed because, like, I wonder if that's how it would be if there were still movie.
Well, if you
rentals.
if you stream something in its initial rate after it gets put out on streaming, they usually cost 10 to 15
$20.
bucks. That's
I
$20
mean,
to buy and stuff
if
like
it's
that.
$35 and I'm getting this, I can deal with it.
Yeah, but you don't know if the movie
99% of the
that.
time, I'm not getting.
And see, that's
this.
why I go to the movies significantly more than practically everybody. But I see a lot of, honestly, I see a lot of crap in the theaters. But when something
Well, you don't
comes
know
up,
it's crap.
I don't know the majority. Some of them you can see from the previews that you're going to probably not going to get much from it. But then there's some it's like, but when you see something that really transcends, like earlier this year when I saw Sinners, and I know that you guys might have different takes on that, but
We liked
something
it. It
was
something
good.
like that, it's like, and then there's a few there's the exceptions, and that makes it all the worthwhile to see it on the big screen and to see something like this with the beautiful cinematography and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, Furiosa.
Yeah.
Seeing that on the big screen is a much different experience. Long Legs was a
Yeah.
great experience seeing that
But
on
see,
the big screen.
the stuff you're saying there is beautiful cinematography. That's not just CGI of the week
Right.
type of thing. Because CGI of the week is exactly that, and unfortunately, that's become the norm and expected by a lot of people.
And that was the wonderful thing about this movie with going back to what Paul was saying about the scene with the lightning in the background. That was real lightning.
Yeah.
And so
That's just-
and they couldn't plan that. That just happened, and they were lucky to get that. I mean, and everything, and that just worked perfectly. So that would have been nowadays. That would be CGI'd, and it would look terrible, and it would not be the same. If it were not Coen Brothers, Coen Brothers wouldn't do like the CGI.
Just like in the movie Toad Warrior we watched from Donald G. Jackson, where they had that little biplane that they just as they were setting up to shoot, the thing landed, and they were like, "Oh, let's go talk to that guy and see if we can get their plane in our film," and they did. It just happened.
Wow.
I thought you were going to talk about something like with a cardboard phone.
No.
So Coen Brothers, Donald G.
You're
Jackson.
the only person to ever say that. Would ever bring Donald G. Jackson up.
I'm sure he'd probably be appreciative of that.
Well,
sure he would.
he's passed away, but
Sorry.
yeah, but he's but maybe Scott Shaw would be happy to hear.
But to be related to something like that, that would be.
There you go.
Badge
Those are
of
my
honor.
two things. Incredibly good, incredibly bad.
Yeah, and that
You don't like the stuff that's in the middle.
No, I detest mediocrity.
Well, you think it's mediocrity, but to me, the middle isn't just mediocrity. It's just
Some of
there's
that could be-
some things are mediocre, and some things are a little above average, but they're not like terrible or
It's
bad.
it's
Some
tough for me though.
Some of
I
that
don't know.
that might be classified as mediocre. I agree. It's really kind of dismissive. But then there's some of it that's like a comfort food almost.
Yeah.
It's just entertainment for what it is, and it's not going to make you think beyond that. But it's sort of something that you want to see. It's just a couple hours, hour and a half, whatever, to get to be come and gone. It won't remember it like this. But I mean, there's 10% of the films that come out each year that at least it'll resonate with me. Probably about 10%.
I'm not even sure that's enough for me, but at least I'm going. There was a stretch for at least a decade where I didn't even bother to go to the movies because there wasn't anything there that had any interest to me.
Well, see, and we bring, I want to bring back the 2007 year of this, and There Will Be Blood, and probably other films that were amazing that year. And
Also, Juno was that year, I think, stuff like
yeah,
that.
and most of that is because there was nothing, there was no, it was just a enjoyable movie or whatever. There was no trying to be political or say something, whatever. It did say stuff. It had a message, but it wasn't like in your face, like it is today.
Well,
2000,
it wasn't identity politics.
well, 2007 would also been like Transformers.
Oh, sorry, guys, cramp.
So
Yeah, getting back to the
live
crap.
action Transformers. So that's when stuff was really starting to change. And what was it 8 when Iron Man came out?
It was late. It was the next year, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we were getting ready to face a very strong transition in film to the comic book and the big time. I mean, there's always the summertime movies, but
Well, and there were
Well,
always comic book movies.
And that's
still.
just it. The comic book movies started to take over then.
and it did for the better part of probably 10 to 15 years. But I think it's really starting to change now. And I mean, because there's a lot of this comic book stuff come out now is pretty forgettable.
Well, and that's the funny thing is like because the comic book stuff took over, and all the movies that you love, the types of movies you love, where they're more adult and everything, those became either TV shows or streaming or something, or whatever. And that's fine for you because you can, you'd watch it if you
Mindhunter,
can.
that was really good.
What's that?
Mindhunter.
Mindhunter? Isn't that a TV show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is there's still these movies out there that come out, maybe not to the great this level, but
They're mostly indie.
and that's why I have the pass at the theater, and I go and I see so much stuff, and it's like there is stuff still there, and it's like one thing that I really like about the pass that I have is they put out these tiny little horror films pretty regularly. Like every week, there's a new horror film from and one or two of them resonate, and most of them usually they are what they are.
A24 isn't really indie anymore. They've got enough
No.
money now.
No, I think for me, I could see like they have like every other week. It seems like a Shudder film comes out or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
Shudder's original.
Blumhouse. Blumhouse still is indie. They still try to keep their $1 million to $5 million range, but like A24 now, I feel like that's just not. They're just not the same that they used to be.
Well, I think there's more of A24 than
Bring Her
last.
Back was an A24
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
So there seems to be more A24 stuff. So either they're producing stuff or they're purchasing stuff for bigger distribution.
Well, they are still doing things that the typical Hollywood
Yeah.
studio is not going to do.
Right.
So that's the plus. It's just they're not all The Witch now. Now it's more like some of the other ones.
Bring Her Back.
Bring Her Back, which looked good, but story was just ridiculous.
I never saw
Bring Her
that.
Back was okay.
So
I mean,
you saw that yesterday?
yeah, and I
Yesterday,
saw it the
last
other
night.
day. I mean, it's no talk.
There's some great
Talk to me.
scenes. There's some good acting.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff, but it's just the story was nowhere near the level of quality that a movie like this.
Well,
was.
I just watched Talk to Me for the first time. Did you know they're coming out with a sequel? Talk to Me? No, I'm not. That's not a joke. Like that's real. And I'm like, really? Do you need one?
Megan 2's
but-
coming out. That's what all the previews.
Yeah, that's next
Yeah.
week. Yeah. Well, with the way that
I've got my ticket for that already.
with the way that film is now in Hollywood and stuff like that, you said you already got the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
With the way films are now, it's like if there's any level of financial success, there's going to be a sequel for better or worse. And that's
Worse.
something. It's like it's something like okay, every movie that it seems like it's either a sequel, a prequel, a reimagining, or based off of something else that's been done 20,
Beating a
30 years
dead
ago, something
horse.
like that. It's like very rarely do we get a Sinners. Very rarely do we get in a No Country for Old Men. I mean, those type of original stuff. And
Long Legs.
Long Legs. I mean, they are putting.
It's
They are
the
putting.
indies who are doing it, though.
They
That's
are
the ones.
putting. The indies are putting this stuff out, and I mean, it's just not resonating up to the masses as much as it probably should.
Winnie
but I
the
think
Pooh,
it's,
Blood and Honey.
Well, and the big thing is like Coen Brothers are one of the only other like Coen Brothers, Tarantino, and a few other directors are the only ones who basically get to do whatever they want.
Speaking of which, they have a new movie coming out too.
Who?
Coen Brothers.
Oh, really?
Yes, they do. That was one of the previews. I don't know if you saw that too. It's with Margaret Qualley and
Nice.
think I saw the preview.
what's her name? The chick. Oh, come on, brain. The chick that I really Aubrey Plaza.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that'll
what's the
be
name
fun.
of it? Do you remember?
I can't remember it, but it looked really good.
You'll keep an eye out for a Coen
I'm
Brothers film.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Certain people, Guillermo del Toro, Coen Brothers,
Well, Coen Brothers
Oz
did
Perkins.
Oz Perkins. But did you see The Monkey?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, so you didn't see it, but you should have seen it in the theater if you support indie
There's.
film.
I thought
That's the problem. It came and went.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's things I liked about that, but then there was some things I didn't like about The Monkey. I mean,
Was there a monkey in it?
Okay, good. At
Well-
least they didn't lie. You know.
I mean,
They're-
you see, I mean, it's the drumming monkey versus the cymbals and stuff like that. So, I mean, they had to do something different, I guess, but
It's
it
like a
wasn't
monkey's-
bad.
It's like a monkey's paw kind of a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, it's above, like you were saying earlier, how there's some all that mediocre. Then there's some that just goes above average and stuff like that. It'd be one of those. It's probably above average, but it doesn't hit that part that's just going to resonate.
Right.
That's the thing. Paul be okay with a little above average one sometimes. Like you know.
I said earlier about comfort food. I wouldn't exactly call a monkey comfort
Well,
food,
and there are
it's something
certain
you
things.
expect from a
There's
horror
certain things, either certain actors or certain directors or certain writers that will elevate
film.
a movie that otherwise would be kind of meh, just because of their presence or because of what they do or
Their
who they are,
style
their
or
style. Yeah.
Their writing, some biting
But-
dialogue.
But see,
or-
then there are people that really like Ari Aster, and I'm just not a really big fan of his. You know.
yeah.
That
film
That's
coming
the
out.
guy who did Midsommar, Samar, and you know
Well,
stuff like that.
I
just
think it's
he's-
called. I think the one I was looking at was called Eddington. I think comes out later
Yeah.
this year.
And he did Hereditary, which I thought was amazing, and then Midsommar was just, you know,
See, I really-
was mediocre.
See, I like
in my opinion.
Midsommar, but I didn't see the extended version, which was like another hour long or
Oh
something
no
like
no
that.
no.
But the version I saw, it was good. It was really good.
But go ahead.
No, I'm good.
I was gonna say, like, to go back to No Country for Old Men, the movie we were talking about. I feel like we kind of went a little on a.
We always ramble, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, these are nice other movies, but they're, they don't have the pockets to do like the cinematography or to do the place settings that this. I mean, the settings were great. The town that they had the big shootout in, that was pretty damn amazing.
This probably had probably about $20-25 million budget.
I would
back
say
then.
at least.
Are you talking about the El Paso scenes and stuff? Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if they shot in El Paso. I'm guessing no, probably,
They
but
probably shot somewhere just
Close by.
Texas town, West Texas town. Probably
Some
would.
sleepy little Texas
Yeah,
area.
'cause I mean it's. I mean it could go for just about any of them.
do you want me to tell you guys what this has
Sure.
on it as far as special features goes?
Yeah, I'm sure the audience wants to know.
So it's a new 4K digital master, supervised and approved by director of photography Roger Deakins. So with
Good job, Roger.
5.1 new conversation between filmmakers Joel and Ethan Coen and author Megan Abbott. So I'm guessing some author asked, wanted to chat with them about it. New conversation between Deakins and associate producer David Dilberto, and also featuring Abbott. Archival interviews with actors Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, Tommy Lee Jones, and Kelly MacDonald. Behind the scenes documentary by Brolin. 3 documentaries about the making of the film featuring on-set footage and interviews with members of the cast and crew. English subtitles for the deaf and hearing, an essay by author Francine
I saw there was
Prose,
a nice essay in there.
and a 2007 piece on the film by author Larry McMurtry. So,
Very cool.
yeah,
It says filming location: Marfa, Texas, Desert Sands Motor Hotel, different places in Texas, Big Bend National Park. Budget estimated $25 million. In U.S. and Canada made $74 million. Gross worldwide $171 million. So
it's a pretty big hit for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did well.
Yeah, it came out in November of 07. So
But see, that's the thing, because like people hear, oh, like you said Coen Brothers have a new movie. People, if nobody knew that, people are gonna be like, oh crap, we're gonna go see the new Coen Brothers movie when it comes out, because that's one of the things people do because they love them.
in this
Tarantino. He has
Tarantino?
yeah, when he does a new movie, people get excited.
Because he counts his movies. He counts how many movies he's gonna do and says, oh, I gotta have 10 movies.
Well, I think he gave away the last one, that it was supposed to be his last one.
Well, yeah, it was supposed to be his last one, and then I think he
Critic.
just didn't. It's really hard because, like, I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood should have been his last one. It was a freaking fantastic
I
movie.
just absolutely love that film.
Yeah, it's my favorite. It's my favorite movie of his that he directed.
That's a great film.
I think you're talking about Honey Don't.
Honey Don't. That's
Honey
it.
Don't. That's the next one.
And he don't.
Yeah, it's already got an hour and a half long, 25. It comes out in August. It looks like it's already out to a point because it's got some ratings and stuff like that. But
Look good.
Back with No Country for Old Men, it's number 147 on the IMDb. So
Nice.
I mean, it's still getting the love from the masses.
Good, as it should.
I know some of that's political.
You
'cause
definitely,
people,
you definitely should, and definitely do yourself a favor and get yourself the 4K version.
Is this
the
this is
Blu-ray.
not the 4K. This is the regular Blu-ray.
Yeah, if you can, the 4K I imagine is even more gorgeous.
I don't think there is a 4K of
Isn't
it.
there?
No, they haven't really. I don't know if they've even upgraded any of their films to 4K yet. Maybe Blood Simple, but
yeah, it could be the first or one of the first.
yeah, because it was like one of the first ones that they did. But I think I could be wrong.
Not
so
even Miller's Crossing?
no, definitely not Miller's
That's
Crossing.
got more of a cult following. Over the
Yeah.
years, stuff like
I
that.
love Miller's
I
Crossing.
mean, it's a great movie, but it's got more of a cult following.
So he said this was his favorite, Coen Brothers. I know this is the first time you saw it, so it probably needs to resonate a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah,
before
it
you
hasn't.
before you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
say.
It won't hit.
I'd probably put it somewhere around 3 to 5 area.
But
Pro-
what's your favorite then?
Probably Big Lebowski. Still, I would Fargo's Big Lebowski, Fargo, and Raising Arizona. Probably to me, those. And Raising Arizona might not be technically the compared to some of this stuff, but seeing that when I was like 15, 17 years old was sort of my introduction into it. And stuff
Not
like
Barton
that.
Fink.
I thought about that movie because I've got the.
I thought you
Keanu
were saying
Reeves
not
in-
Lady Killers.
No,
Be
definitely
like,
not Lady
no, that
Killers.
might be
That's-
last in the I think there's like 20 or so films. That might, and it's still not an awful film, but it's
Yeah,
compared to
it's
his
just
other work.
it almost felt like an attempt to just redo the exact same thing, except with Tom
Yeah.
Hanks.
But this definitely would be in the
think it was Tom
3 or
Hanks.
so area, and I mean, and that's not taking anything away from this film because this is an excellent film.
I don't know.
Knows teenagers. Not a single teenager.
I think like it's almost tied with Fargo and Oh Brother Where Art Thou. I just love those two movies. Those movies are
See,
so
I
much
didn't
fun.
like Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
That's got-
It had a lot of music in it. That's why.
Well, there was a whole lot of music in this.
Well, no. Like
Yeah,
singing.
singing, and whatever. It was a
And
musical.
The
it was
kind
more
of music
musical.
is not for me.
Yeah, and I kind of grew up with that. Like my parents liked
Mm-hmm.
that kind of music, so I would listen to that kind of stuff anyway. So it never bothered me, and
Plus, there's anti-cow stuff in that film.
I don't remember.
Oh, heaven
that,
forbid
but
that's the real reason.
that's the real
That's the
reason.
main reason.
You know, what if he shot a cow in this movie? You would have hated.
Yeah. The way you were talking about
Oh,
the
God.
dog, the
Dog!
dogs,
He killed a dog in this movie.
Yeah, and
that might
shot
be
it.
one of the reasons he goes down, in my opinion.
Yeah, but the thing
That
is
survived.
the dog.
What does that say about the Coen Brothers? They like cats but don't like dogs. Is that it?
Well, let's face it. The dogs died because they were going to tear somebody's head off.
Yeah, he was about ready to get Brolin at the water.
Yeah, that's true.
He was almost, I don't want to say Cujo-esque, but I mean that was a villain, if you will. And the dog never really had any control on that. It's just the way he was trained.
I know
But-
he was swimming, man.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, and then the one earlier at the scene where the big shootout and everything that Brolin happened upon was already dead.
Well,
so.
and that's kind of the big thing to me as far as his villainy is concerned, is that innocence doesn't matter to him. You know, he'll shoot a bird just because it's there. You know, same thing with Kelly MacDonald's character. She's innocent. She didn't do anything. And
Well, then
he's
why did he let the boys live?
unknown.
I mean,
well, McDonald's character, he made a commitment to Brolin that he was going to kill her.
Yeah, but she doesn't know that. She's innocent of that. It's not her fault.
I think that's irrelevant in his rationale.
I think he let the boys live because he asked the kid how much for the shirt, and he goes, "I'll just give it off you off my back without."
Yeah, he was
you
trying
know?
to be helpful. He was good.
Yeah, and he saw something, whatever, right? Like he could justify, like, okay, I don't need to kill this kid because But if he had said, $100, sir, or something like that, he would have just shot him.
And took it from him.
And took it from him.
And still, after that scene happened, the two boys start to wander off, and they're bickering. And a couple good words, a phrase, a good interaction happens between them, and it was like, well, it was my shirt I gave him. It was like this, that, and then they made a couple comments to each other, and I was like, that gives a little bit more color to the character. And that's just that was all through this.
Because I felt bad for those boys because I saw him, he was looking at them in the rear view, and I was like, you're dead.
You thought he was just going to run and hit him or something?
No, I just
Or
thought,
shoot him?
or just shoot him.
Like
like
they did
a
that
bird. You know, they just fly, go up there, and that's the thing with his character is you never knew what he was gonna do or when he was gonna do it. He just
Because
did
we
whatever.
don't understand his reasonings.
Yeah.
But
he has no real
he seemed to be totally in control of every action that he was doing,
true.
except for when he was being shot at. Then he had to sort of
Or when he got hit
detour.
by the car because he didn't see that coming.
Yeah. So, but other than that, other than those times, he was in complete control. Even when he had to treat his wound when he got shot, he was completely he seemed psychotically under control.
That was gross, by the way.
Yeah, it was. All of it was gross at times. Like this is a fun movie, but a gross movie. I'm not gonna lie.
There you are with the fun again.
It was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. I would, I would watch it again.
Some people got a strange sense
I
of
certainly
entertainment.
highly recommend this film, and there you go. I
Yeah.
don't know that we need to say much else. No Country for Old Men. Check it out.
Check it out, everybody. So we'll be back. By the way, I don't know if we mentioned this earlier.
I think we did on the intro. That
Maybe
we were
a
doing
little
the
bit,
intro,
but so this was our last episode here in the studio.
In the original studio.
The original studio. I think we were planning to do something else and never did it anyway. So I'm glad we were able to do it here. But I believe from now on, most other videos that we do for Indie Film Cafe, studio related, not Zoom related, but studio related, will be at the new studio. So
2.0.
As long as the AC works.
as long as the AC works. That's the main reason we came here. And, next time, we're not going to have this place. You're not going to be able to go to this. So I guess we'll have to do everything at your house or whatever. Which wasn't bad.
We're going to get the studio right.
Yeah, we're going to get it. It'll be fine.
Yes. So thank you guys so much for checking this out. I hope you guys enjoyed this.
Yep. See us next time at the new studio.
It's a sad moment. This is the end of the Studio 1.0. It's like,
It's all right. We're going bigger and better.
cheer.
I mean, not really. I mean, we'll have our memories, and we have the Dark Office to always remember this place. So.
That the ghost can stay here.
Yeah, the ghost can stay here.
They can haunt the other people.
All right, everybody. Hope you guys have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. I hear the sound.
Are you sure the mic is on?
It is. It was blue.
Hello.
Testing.
Hello.
Dripping wet with sweat right now. Testing.
Test.
Testing.
Testing.
Echo.
Test.
Testes.
Testes.
Testing.
Are your testes sweating?
Are your testes sweating? I don't want to know.
I think I'll leave that unanswered.